From the Keith Vincent Kayla Studios in Patterson, New Jersey, Green Arrow Media proudly presents Is This Real? Tonight, we discuss what Marie Laveau, Delphine LaLaurie, and Nicolas Cage all have in common. Buckle up for New Orleans curses. And now here's your host, JC3.
Welcome everybody to another fantastic episode of Is This Real?
Is this
real? Tonight's episode, as Pope Tony said himself, it is about, New Orleans curses and what all three of those people have in common.
Nicolas Cage, though?
Nicolas Cage is involved.
Homie stole the Declaration of Independence, Nicolas Cage?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
So, as we sit here and kick this episode off, it is presented by Dubby. Dubby, get your Dubby products at dubby.gg. Punch in the code IsThisRealPC to get 10% off your Dubby products. So this episode, we're close to ending season 8 here with curses, guys.
We are?
Yes,
Wow.
we have about 3 or 4 more episodes, I think.
The season felt kind of quick on me.
I'll be honest, I felt very long.
February
has already felt like 2 years to me, but
We have 4 episodes left.
Yes,
we'll
4
talk about them
episodes.
at the end.
Holy shit, yo, dog. It's already February.
Yeah.
but so we're talking about New Orleans curses. This is interesting to me, and before we get deeper into this,
Oh, wait. Aren't you going to introduce everyone?
that's what I was just about to do.
Okay,
I said
very good.
before we get like knuckles deep into it.
Okay, good.
You gotta start small, boys. Remember, 2 fingers first.
We have Cito here with us. Cito, say hello to everybody.
Hi.
Oh, you're very sad, Cito. Come on.
I just had to recover from what Eric just said.
It's okay. No, you see, you have to start it with a little. No. Okay. We have Mr. West in the build.
It's like a circle, bro. It's like a circle. That's what I'm saying. Konnichiwa, bitches.
All right. We have the Pope himself.
I'm the Pope, and I know things about getting into tight spaces. If you know what I'm talking about.
Unfortunately.
And I'm JC.
Where's my crucifix? Anyway,
Yes.
You will
we
not
are-
sodomize any children tonight.
who said anything about that? I know nothing.
You will not allegedly sodomize
We're
any
not
children.
talking about that tonight.
All right, different conspiracy. Sure.
Different conspiracy, different season. We're
Yeah.
talking about voodoo.
Ooh,
Voodoo plays a very big part of this.
Yes, we're talking about what are the names again, Anthony? Please.
Well, tonight we're going to be discussing about Marie Laveau.
Marie Laveau.
Marie
Marie
Laveau.
Laveau.
She was known as the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans. We're going to be talking about this cunt's name is
My God.
Oh my gosh.
Delphine LaLaurie. You'll understand. I could be mispronouncing that. She was French, but I think it's
And he's
Delphine
just like, I
LaLaurie.
don't give a fuck.
And then the great actor Nicolas Cage. They all have
Well,
something
hold
in
on.
common.
Is he really a great actor?
Yes, he is.
Let's calm down.
He's got an Oscar to his name. He's a great actor.
Okay, there's a lot of people who have Oscars to their name. Let's calm it down.
That's
Okay,
true. That's
personal
true.
opinion,
Jennifer
that's
Lawrence
personal.
has an Oscar. I forgot about that.
Let's calm down. So Anthony, let's before we get into the story and how
Yes.
they all connect, Cito, have you ever heard of any of these stories? As far as
Any of them.
Who has
Marie
heard
Laveau.
of Nicolas Cage?
Oh, well, I'm saying like Marie Laveau and Voodoo. Like how
I haven't heard of neither of them, but the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans sounds absolutely fire.
Yeah.
my
Like,
question
I'm
is
gonna
how much voodoo do you know of?
How much do you know about voodoo?
About voodoo, not that. Do you know, I hope you don't know any voodoo. Let's put it like
Hold on,
that.
you're already putting a bad spin on it. No, don't say shit like that.
How much I know? I mean, I know the origins of it, yeah, the history, but do I know voodoo itself, or like how deep and?
Like what makes up like voodoo?
Yeah, I know what makes up the basic concepts.
Mhm.
It's like
But everything else-
West African religions, pretty much.
It's-
That made its way. At least from my understanding of it, like voodoo, it started off as like West African religions, and then the ones that got brought over as slaves into the Caribbean, pretty much just
They kept practicing their faith.
they kept practicing their faith, and a few of it also kind of got like blended in with like what the Christianity
You're
being
100% correct.
was like being going around the time.
2 points for Mr. West.
Mr.
Give me a
West,
3 right there.
You are 1,000% correct when it comes to what makes up voodoo. It really is. It's West African beliefs and rituals and traditions
Proud of you, West.
mixed in with Catholicism specifically. It's not just Christianity; it's Catholicism.
There we go.
Because remember, this is the Spanish we're talking about.
Damn all you Catholics.
This is the Spanish we're talking about. And yeah, and of course there's Haitian voodoo in there as well, which is a little bit different, but it's made up of Central and West African traditions and Catholicism, so it all plays into the same thing. Where do you want me to start? You want me to start with what voodoo is, since we start there right now?
I mean, we just explained what voodoo is. didn't
Right,
we?
but I mean, there's some things about voodoo, like we could
It's
do-
not all just like black magic as like people assume.
Well,
it
no,
is.
It's
I
not.
understand that.
Like,
I-
It's
Yeah.
heavily stereotyped.
Yeah,
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
it's really heavily stereotyped. That's just the fact that like you think it's just like you pin a few, you make a doll and you just pin some stuff.
well,
and then you hex some.
we just
That's
learned that
like- that's
voodoo
like-
dolls
that's
is
like
a
that's
stereotype.
like black. That's like black magic.
Right.
What you consider, but there are parts of voodoo that are considered healing and
Well, yeah,
faithful, where it's just like chanting, using herbs and smoke and stuff like that. Yeah, there are sacrifices that they use too sometimes, but
So
it's all part of the.
What religion doesn't have sacrifice here and then? Let's be
yeah,
honest.
seriously. No, I mean, like, even like we don't practice, like we don't even in Catholicism they don't like slaughter an animal at the altar, but the idea of number one, Jesus sacrificing himself as the savior. Number two,
oh no, I know
you have the
that.
practice of cannibalism and vampirism in the form of the bread and the blood. I'm sorry, the body and blood, which is also the bread and the wine. So there's these dark elements, but they're spun in such a light that we don't think of them as that anymore, because it's supposed to be a holy, sacred practice that's not supposed to be looked at as cannibalism or drinking blood, as vampirism. But like everything you said, Wes, was like really spot on the money. Voodoo dolls are not has nothing to do with voodoo. Voodoo dolls originate from witchcraft, specifically from European stuff.
It's like Celtic shit.
Hmm. But they became a stereotype from movies from the 1930s, which were based off of books from like the 1800s, because you have people who did not practice that stuff, and then they don't understand it.
Ignorance.
And then, yeah, exactly. They write shit about it, and there you go. So, voodoo, I've got a couple, like, there's interesting. Like, here's something I think is amazing. As much as, like, it's got this Catholicism's mixed into it, they don't see, like, the animal of the snake like an evil thing like Catholics do.
No, it's supposed to be a symbol of like everlasting change. It's like I think they either call it is it an Ouroboros?
I don't have that
Yeah.
down.
I'm pretty sure. I think it's
It's like
it's an
Ouro-
Ouroboros, but it's supposed to represent, as far as like also how Eastern philosophy goes, that it's supposed to be a symbol of reincarnation or just like
It's also
immortality.
it's
type
supposed
shit.
to be the animal that knows all the unknown things.
It's the wisdom. It's wisdom.
Right. Like there was a couple of deities that they were known as Iwas. Well, one's called Blanc Dani. He's the serpent god of storms. There's someone called the Great Zombie, who's like their biggest god of gods. And then you have the Papa Labat.
It's the great zombie, Rob Zombie.
He was like this one, Papa was like a gatekeeper between a human and a greater god. So if you were casting a spell,
Like a demigod or something.
yeah, if you were casting a spell, that spell has to go through him to get to
The next.
the next person you're trying to contact. And like, think like there's 4 phases to a voodoo ritual. It's sung, a song to be sung, preparation. So you have it's all sung by song rather. You have preparation, invocation, possession, and farewell. And they say that when this happens, you're singing this song, you open up a gate between you and the deity and the human world, and you invite the spirit to possess you to get some sort of knowledge. It's not looked at as like I'm being possessed like by a demon. It's like I'm being possessed by a spirit to answer my prayers.
Not right. Like we look at it crazy because it's just like from the
Mhm.
Abrahamic point of view, it's just like anytime you hear the word possess, you just already assume.
And listen to
demon
this.
shit.
That's not the reason why I look. I as far as me, again, I can only go based on
Well,
like,
yeah,
my
I'm
beliefs,
speaking
stuff
for
like
you,
that, yeah.
which is
I sit there
apologize.
and no, you're fine. I sit there. I don't look at opening portals to other worlds, even though whoever believes in that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you believe in opening portals or anything like that.
I'm on the fence.
To any type of dimensions, whatever the hell you want to call it. To me, that is like a no-no because you don't know what's coming out on the other side.
Yeah, but here's
that's a whole religion-based thing.
Yeah.
Other religions may not see the same.
Yeah, they know exactly where the portal's going. You know what I mean?
Well, I get that.
Here's some of the things I'm gonna run down these.
All this is religion based.
Yeah. I'm gonna run down some of the voodoo things right here, and
But just remember, there's a certain sense of truth to what they're trying to say within the context of what they believe in.
Yeah, like I'm gonna go through this right now, and you're gonna be like, nope.
It's hard to accept, but there is a certain truth that they're preaching because at the end of the day, all religions are saying the same thing.
That's a very broad brush. I'm not going to totally disagree, but hold on, just listen. So voodoo groups they wear white clothing for this ceremony. They dance around a central post. They have patterned flags called drapos, and they sing songs in like a Haitian Creole. They have drawings called veves, which are made on the floor to invoke spirits. So, like you ever seen like the satanic drawings? Like every demon has its own like symbol, like Prince.
Yeah.
They do that for.
How dare you disrespect Pin?
They do that for their spirits. Offerings in the form of food and drink. Voodoo rituals, like I said before, they call out spirits to enter the body of the practitioner, through which they can heal or offer blessings, and you're known as the horse when that happens. Many places. Here's something that's right there. Here's something that's right there with Catholics. Voodoo rites often entail many practitioners have their own personal altars located in their kitchen or living room. How many fucking times?
Okay, that's fine.
Do you remember going down to Uncle Pat's old house and having that fucking spooky ass shrine in the one bedroom?
No.
With the candles and the
I
statues.
don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
No.
I do. I'm walking. I'm like, this is fucking weird.
Yeah, a lot of Catholics have that.
Sacrifice of animals, but they also cook and they eat the carcass. All of these things are part of voodoo rituals, specifically Louisiana voodoo rituals. And Madame Laveau was the biggest one.
I was gonna say, how does this woman tie into this?
So, Madame Laveau.
I like how
Go ahead.
I like that
I'm gonna
transition.
be honest, just Hollywood messes a lot of things up. Right?
Sure.
But actually sitting down and listening to some of the things, like, I don't know, it just sounds like something. I may not say, I want to be part of a ritual, but I actually kind of want to see one. Like,
Sure.
like the dancing and all that, just traditional stuff. I actually kind of.
It'd be interesting to watch.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be something
Ever-
interesting I might want to watch. Actually,
Have you ever like listened to like some of like I don't know what it's called like with Puerto Ricans, but like there's Spanish type of music that has a lot of like African drums to it that is supposed to like you never heard any something. It's like
or Jamaican.
it's like it has like African influence, but it's like
Because there's reggaeton, which is reggae, and that's taken from Puerto Rico and basically
I
took
love
it into more of
reggaeton.
a modern Spanish and usually rap,
Mm.
which is basically a combination of Spanish rap and or whatever Spanish music and reggae.
I have to get the name of what it's
Get
called.
it? Because I know reggaeton is
but-
basically the idea.
But pretty much like, cause I've heard this music before during like Christmas and New Year's time, where it's just like African inspired music. There's a lot. It's just like a lot of drums, and it's just like chanting, and it's just like it moves you in a way. But it kind of just in a way it's like that.
I don't know. I actually haven't heard of that anywhere in my
Sounds
family.
interesting though.
But I kind of want to.
It moves you. It's very
Well,
interesting.
just like-
It's
I mean,
very interesting.
Voodoo is, it's a religion, and just like regular religions, go ahead. Just like regular religions, its prayers are used for both good things and bad things. For take an example, in 1995, there was a ritual held in the Bywater area of New Orleans to try to drive away prostitution, assaults, crime, crack epidemic, cocaine abuse. They were doing that as a prayer to like get this out of our city. Also in 2001, voodoo priestess Ava Jones performed a rite to drive spirits away from the New Orleans Saints so they could win the Super Bowl. So It's not. So Jesus, when they, I thank God for the win. No, they should have been thanking the voodoo snake for the win of the Super Bowl.
Oh my god.
Yo.
And there are curses when it comes to voodoo.
That's beautiful.
So, like, okay, so voodoo dolls are not real, but a voodoo. Here's one thing: you put an object inside someone's pillow. That's one way to curse them.
I think that's when it crosses.
Here's another one.
Well, hold on.
You
But I'm
put-
saying that's when I think that's when it crosses into like, you know,
Spooky shit.
spooky and
Well,
like,
this is spooky. You're putting
evil,
a curse on
you know?
someone. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's what they're gonna focus more on that than
Here's another one.
society's gonna focus more on the bad shit than they do on the good.
You
so.
get a little coffin and you put the victim's name and you leave it on their doorstep. That's another weird one. But my favorite, two of my favorites.
You said favorite asshole.
Yeah, my favorite curse is, and this is true. I don't have the prayer here. I found the prayer. I don't have it here. It's pretty long. You have to sing it and all that happy horse shit. Thank you, sir. But this is one way to curse someone. You take black candles and you dip it in vinegar. You put.
Don't curse anybody.
Don't curse anyone. You have write on a piece of paper the cursee's name, and you put that like stapled to the black candle. When you do that, you have to take a picture of Madame Laveau. I keep calling her Madame Laveau. Marie Laveau. You put 15 cents on the picture, and then you sing this incantation under a full moon, because a full moon would have the most power, and that's how you curse.
Curses have taxes.
See, 15 cents is like a steal, though. I'm like, not bad. Like, to me, it's in this economy, that's a bargain.
Wait. So is there inflation on the curse?
I don't know, man. I mean,
Look.
apparently this has been like this for the last 200 years. So,
I can't. I don't know.
do you want me to get to Madame Laveau now?
Yeah,
Marie
I mean,
Laveau?
let's put it like this. Like I said, you're gonna have people who sit there and focus on the bad parts instead of the good parts. Just like Catholicism, they're gonna focus more on the bad parts, or any religion. You're gonna have a lot of people focusing on bad parts instead of good parts
Sure.
all the time.
So,
So I think when we sit there and we talk about things like voodoo, and you have stuff like curses, that's society's gonna focus more on that than they are of
Right.
healing or anything like that.
Yeah, but technically you can call healing positive curses.
Positive, no,
curse.
positive curses.
Or
We're gonna put
AKA
that on a T-shirt.
AKA miracles.
Miracles are not curses.
Miracles they act the same way. It's a
No.
force.
Miracles are something that happen, not because of somebody doing
You're
it.
right. There's more of a divine influence than it is from a human influence.
Like
but
nobody's
still.
praying for that.
Yeah, it's
Well,
just
so-
skipping.
well, that's-
It's just skipping A and going to B.
See, we think okay.
Well, that's what you think a miracle is, but miracles are more miracles in the sense is more like you still prayed for it because you still like asked. Because
Yeah, you
still,
just can't
you
do
still
the thing.
you
yourself.
still thought about it and you still wanted to make
Depends
that
on-
happen. And because that want is so
Depends
big,
on what
the
it
universe
is. Like
the universe gives you what you want. And
Maybe.
like I said, depends on what it is, because like if you're saying like someone, if you're praying for someone to sit there and like, oh, you know, he survived cancer or whatever, yeah, okay, you could sit there and cover that. But when I talk about miracle, I don't call that a miracle. I just think it's just modern science that helps somebody survive cancer or some shit like that.
I get what
Like
you're
when you're
saying, but,
talking
like,
about like what was it that the again, this is something that we could sit there and
like
say
parting the Red
is
Sea.
that, or like something to where the statues crying and stuff like that, where people sit there and think these are miracles that happen. Like nobody's praying for a fucking statue to cry.
I don't know.
I wouldn't. I myself wouldn't consider that a miracle because that's more of a phenomenon. Like
Yeah,
a straight. It's like when I think about miracle, at least me personally, is like
It's fucking
something-
spooky.
thing happening to specifically someone. Like, sure, you can call that a miracle in your sense, but I think in my own personal like idea of a miracle, it's usually happening to someone else because that is more of like a
What-
sign or a signal.
What would you call the Lady of Fatima?
A A miracle is when you ask for a sign of God, and then God shows you lightning in a clear blue sky.
I'd shit my pants.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
No, God's trying to talk to me.
To
but
me,
I need new bitches.
I don't consider that a miracle. I mean, like I said,
Yeah.
you're not talking into the mic. Well, I understand that, but you're talking to me while we're recording, my guy. Either way, we're gonna take a short little break. We will be right back. Hey everybody, I'm JC3.
And I'm Mr. West.
And this episode is brought to you by Dubby. Made by professionals in the USA, Dubby was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash.
No jitters.
Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, including the patented neurofactor. You know what Dubby doesn't give you?
What's that?
No calories,
No calories.
no sugars,
No sugar.
no fillers,
No fillers.
and no artificial flavors. When the raw ingredients arrive to their FDA-registered and inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP guidelines, they undergo a quarantine while a small sample of each ingredient is taken to test for any impurities, while also being tested to ensure that the ingredients are actually what they are supposed to be and have the proper dosage.
And once the ingredients pass all the tests, then they're cleared to get mixed into the formula. So head on over to dubby.gg and use our offer code IsThisRealPC for 10% off your first order. That's DUBBY.GG and use the code IsThisRealPC for 10% off. They have great flavors such as Galaxy Grenade, Dub Sludge, Passion Joy Tea, Monkey Madness, and Dragonade. My personal favorites.
Dragonade's right here. I got Dragonade right here. Delicious.
Drink Dubby.
And be better.
These products are not intended to diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hello, this is JC3 speaking. If you want to know more about Is This Real Podcast and our parent company Green Arrow Media, then visit greenarrowmedia.org. You can find and follow all of our social media pages through our website. If you love our content, then you can support us by subscribing to our YouTube channel and our Patreon page. Remember, that is greenarrowmedia.org. And welcome back to the Voodoo episode.
You're a dickhead.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can make fun of Catholicism all you want, but if I make fun of voodoo, it's not good. Okay,
That's because it's
fine.
funny.
And so is making fun of voodoo.
Oh,
Why?
no.
Are you scared? Are you scared to make fun of voodoo?
No, but last time I heard there hasn't been a voodoo
Brought to you by Dubby.
last
Wrong
time
time to say brought to you by Dubby.
Last time I checked, I don't think any voodoo priests were fucking little boys in the ass.
No, they were just killing little boys and killing little
Nobody
girls.
was
Cool.
killing
Yeah.
anybody.
Okay, yeah, we're not gonna get into this, Anthony,
Okay.
because you have a thing for Catholicism. And I get that. That's fine.
Yeah. I'm not the
Anyhow.
Pope after all. I know what I'm talking about.
Of course you do. So you want to get into Marie Laveau and
Marie
you know,
Laveau.
why?
Who is this woman again?
Marie
She's
Laveau.
she is a witch.
She's
no,
a hoe?
she's not a witch.
She's a hoe? I thought you
No.
just said she's a hoe.
Hey, cool, man.
No one's a hoe.
Oh, you know what? You people make fun of so many other religions, but if we sit there and I make fun of, I'm not cool. Okay,
No.
I can see it.
You're
Okay.
mean though.
I'm mean. Fuck you. I'm mean. All right,
Okay.
eat my fucking asshole. All
Okay.
right.
At
Okay.
least I'm factual.
Him?
No, thank you.
Okay, him? He's in his own realm. But
I'll
let's
take it.
be honest. Me and Eric really never went full off on like Catholic. I've made joke around here and then, but it's all that it is, a joke. But because isn't she known as the Queen of Voodoo?
Mhm.
You're basically calling like someone who's basically in standards of the Pope. Now, like I said, I'm not him. He does what he wants.
It's true, I do.
Okay.
I will say this though. She is known as the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans, but I don't believe it. There's
Well, I mean, you're gonna sit there and not tell us the background.
I'm
of her.
going to. There's a bullshit factor with Marie Laveau. I'm going to get to it right now.
Well,
Is she the Anton LaVey of
Was
voodoo?
she
No,
flying
no.
death or flew of airplane?
No, I'll tell you right now. Oh, dear God. What?
stop. Stop.
She was born a free woman of color in the French Quarter of New Orleans on September 10th, 1801. She married 1890.
What day she was born?
The day before September 11th.
September 10th.
Birthday buddies!
That's right.
Yeah, I love this woman now.
She got married on August 4th, 1819. She married a guy named Jacques Paris, but he died a year later. She practiced voodoo. She led This is how big she was at the highest thing. She led a religious rite at a sunset on the shore of a lake on St. John's the Baptist Eve. And it had 12,000 black and white New Orleans people there. She led that thing herself. Like, that's a big fucking crowd. And I didn't know this. Like, there's like,
So is she the MLK of Voodoo?
kind of. Like,
Cool.
she's the one.
I'm not fucking wrong. I'm not making fun, and I'm not wrong.
She's
That's
the goat.
actually, like, a good comparison.
Yeah, she's
Thank
like the
you.
goat. Like, I didn't know like what. So, like, like, I was raised Catholic. Like, there's such a thing as St. John's feast day.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was like a legit like celebration thing.
Dude, every saint day is a
I
legit
know, I understand that, but like
celebration thing.
they were gathered in prayer. Like, so the whole thing with St. John the Baptist is he's Jesus' cousin, and he was born 6 months prior to Jesus.
And he gave Jesus his first baptism.
Right, that's why. So they think that like, oh, so like when you hit June 23rd, that's the June 24th, that's his feast day. This is the day he was born. That's like 6 months before Christmas. It's it's a good little
Yeah.
reminder. So apparently, St. John's Eve is a really big religious day for
Well, it used to be.
them.
It's not anymore.
So it's a big thing apparently. So she led that prayer, that religious rite, with 12,000 people. That's amazing to me. So, but here's what I mean when I say I think she's full of shit. So yes, she did practice voodoo. She did the herbs and the healing. She made the gris bags, which are little like bags of elements that like supposed to have like a spiritual idea to help you heal or whatever. She owned a fucking beauty parlor. Okay?
Voodoo queens can't be pretty?
I don't know. I have no problem with that. But when you own a beauty parlor and you are catering to the socialites of New Orleans, what happens in beauty parlors?
Gossip.
Thank you. So when people came to her later on for like, I need your help, can you walk me through this, talk me through, she was able to prescribe them shit based off the gossip she heard in the fucking beauty parlor. Don't
Okay.
speak, keep your ears open, and then when people you hear from this, like those gossip stories come into your, I need your help, guy, here you're the voodoo queen. You're like, oh yes, rub this goat's testicles and drink that glass of milk and you wake up fine. Like she was able to say shit like that because she heard the fucking gossip.
Bah.
I mean, it's not a bad.
Like everyone thought she was a clairvoyant. Like she knows me without knowing me, motherfucker. She heard
Okay,
your wife
okay,
talking
okay,
shit about you.
Okay. Here's a question. Is there anything documented that was a phenomenon that she did?
Not that I found in my thing.
Not that I found either.
Okay.
She died.
Let's
in
just put it like this. Anthony, how many times have you sat there and read something about, or at least try to debunk people of clairvoyancy or anything like that? Like, or not even
not
that.
in a minute. Yeah.
Like you sat there and debunk people saying, oh, they did this because of this reason.
Yeah. I do that
So-
all the time.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. Like that didn't happen because of this. You know, it's
Right.
a trickle down effect.
The idea, though, that she was known as the voodoo queen, she had this perception about her that. She
Well, what
knew
other things did besides?
She helped out a lot. She was known for helping out a lot of people. I mean, there
So
was,
she was a philanthropist above all.
not just that. Like there was an epidemic that rolled through New Orleans at one point, and she was there on the front lines helping people trying to get better. Like she devoted her time and her life to her community while
Well-
practicing this religion and leading people in prayer.
Well, I mean, that's a perfect cover up as
Exactly.
well too, because like you're socially liked among everybody. You're gonna be, and if you're speaking something that you can just inspire someone
Well,
or any
let's also-
type of way.
Let's also put it into the times too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
18.
It's the 1800s.
So
where
hundreds.
what you could sit there and say is that she'll sit there and let's get practical about it.
it's like it's
There's
alternative.
Yeah, modern medicine it wasn't what it is. So if
Correct.
she's sitting there helping people and they're getting better, and she's saying that's because I did this with this and blah blah blah. They're sitting there like, oh,
It's
whoa,
amazing.
Could also
That's
be
amazing,
placebo
'cause-
effect too.
Correct.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's
But that doesn't take away from the fact that she did, like I said, devote a lot of her time.
so you could just put her the
energy.
Queen of New Orleans.
Well, but she did it practicing voodoo.
Yeah.
Right. So So that's what happened with her. So I can't find anything divine about her. She died when she was 79 years old. It was 1881. And her funeral was very lavish, and people missed her because, like, you know, she was a big part of her community. Now, she was buried in the St. Louis Cemetery number 1. You want to know some facts about St. Louis Cemetery number 1?
Hit me with the facts.
Okay, St. Louis Cemetery number 1 is 1 city block square.
Like New York City block?
It's very small. Let me put it like this.
Okay.
You ever been to a baseball game?
I've been to Yankee Stadium before.
Okay.
Yeah.
The entire cemetery can fit in the outfield of a standard sized baseball stadium. That's how small it is.
Holy shit.
Do you know how many people are buried there? Take a guess.
5.
No.
Hundreds or thousands? Give me that hint.
Thousands.
5,000.
More.
No. You have at least 19,000 bodies on that.
More.
More?
100,000.
Correct.
Get the fuck out of here.
There's over 100,000 people buried in that very tiny.
Not
place.
100,000 exactly, over 100,000.
But here's the thing. This is how they did it.
Jesus Christ.
This is how they did it.
I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what?
This is New Orleans.
Man, I have a joke. I want to say it.
Do it. Do it.
All right, calm down, Palpatine.
Do it.
Do it. Join the dark side.
The Mexicans got a lot to learn from them.
Oh.
Hey, yo.
Damn you. You can get
So
away
here's
with
how
that.
they do it.
You provoked me.
You can get away with that. I can't.
You provoked me.
So here's how they did it. First of all, it's closed today. You can't go to this cemetery.
The cemetery is closed
I think
today,
it's a little
sir.
filled.
It's completely filled. There's
A
three. There's 3 of them. It's St. Louis Cemeteries number 1, 2, and 3. The one I'm focusing on right now is number 1. You can't go there. If you want to tour the cemetery, you have to get special permission and a guide because it's so old and decrepit. And the other thing about it is very few people are actually buried there. It's all standing crypts and mausoleums because this is like not that far away from the Mississippi River and you have to deal with flooding.
Oh.
So yeah.
That's right.
So
Well, here's a side note. That shit has happened before.
yes, it has.
Do you know Annie's Road, the cemetery that's
Happened
on
fucking
Annie's
right
Road?
here.
Bodies floating around and shit.
Correct.
We've lost one of our family members that were buried in there
Yeah, I actually remember this story.
Yeah.
When we were
because
on Andy's
over flooding in that. So that's a fucking thing that
So
happens.
here's what they did. You have all these standing crypts in cemetery number 1. When someone died, they put the coffin and the body in the crypt, sealed it up. They would wait 1 year and a day. After a year and a day, you would have crypt keepers go into that crypt, take the body apart, put the bones in a bag, stack the bag in the back of the fucking crypt, and then shut the door behind them, and then you wait for the next relative to die. So when everyone's condensed to like the size of a ShopRite shopping bag, you can fit some bodies in these crypts.
So they're vacuum sealing bodies now?
Exactly.
Hold on.
That takes mummification to a whole nother level, bro.
They're not even mummified. They're Legos.
You know what the fucked up part is? They're putting them into plastic bags. That's not very good for the environment.
No,
Oh, man.
it's not. So there's over 100.
They should be fined.
100,000 bodies here. Marie Laveau is one of them. Now, she's not buried in the Laveau crypt. She's actually buried in an unmarked grave as it is right now. That's because in 1982, a little band from New Jersey known as the Misfits tried to dig her up after a local concert.
Fucking
What?
weirdos.
So,
What?
yeah, so you can't find her now. But it is said that her ghost still haunts that area. So the people have seen like shadows, they've seen apparitions, they say it's her. Now the cemetery's old as fuck. If
Well,
there's
that's what
gonna
I'm
be
saying.
haunted
How
by
do
ghosts,
they know it's her
Exactly.
specifically?
exactly.
Like, if you're saying there's over 100,000 people there, it could be haunted by fucking anybody.
Correct. Now I'm gonna just pivot a little bit, not that much.
Pivot.
Marie's buried there.
Uh-huh.
She was known as a healer.
Uh-huh.
The actor Nicolas Cage.
I love how this just comes out of fucking left field.
Nick Cage was told to be. Nick Cage thought he was cursed, and he went
Well,
to.
have you seen his last couple movies? I can see he was.
I haven't actually.
Nick Cage thought he was cursed.
Exactly.
Oh man.
Nick Cage thought he was cursed, and he was told by a psychic that he has to be buried near Madame Laveau. Madame, I keep saying Madame. Buried near Marie Laveau to alleviate the curse, which makes no sense because he's dead.
He'll be dead, yeah.
So he paid a lot of money to have 2 plots dug up and moved so he can erect a 9-foot pyramid that he will be interned in when he dies. And on the pyramid it says
Nicholas
oh
Cage.
fuck, I'm gonna screw this up. You know, it's Latin and it means everything from one.
Give it to me.
No, I don't have it here. I thought I did. But
Yeah,
he has a
that's not
9
New
foot.
World Ordery.
Yeah, seriously. So he has a 9. Oh, it means
You know what's funny? I could just see this. To be honest with you, I could just
I
see.
have to go
It's
to my
there
pyramid.
now.
I can see the pyramid, but then what I see is just Nicolas Cage
Mhm.
frozen in the middle.
His name is not on the.
there.
His name's not on it right now, but as the Latin
I'm gonna
phrase
die in Louisiana.
"omni ab uno," which translates to everything from one. Nobody knows what the fuck that means, and apparently the IRS cannot take plots, cemetery plots. So when he went bankrupt, yeah, that just stood there, like they couldn't touch it. And apparently that pyramid was struck by lightning twice.
Did he live there for a time?
I don't know.
Wait, the IRS can't take.
Apparently, under certain circumstances. Now
So
we
that
ca-
piece of land is yours, no matter what.
Oh
now
my god, I just thought about a terrible scheme.
now, okay.
Just buy a whole cemetery.
I love it.
Buy a whole cemetery, sell out to people.
Now, why is Nick Cage cursed? Why did he think he was cursed? Can anyone want to guess?
Well, we'll guess when we come back from break.
Oh, you want to do that now? We
Yes.
still have time.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Nick Cage thought he was cursed because he purchased a couple. He made a lot of bad purchases. This is face fact. Let me give you a rundown. He's bought exotic animals: a shark, an octopus, a crocodile. He bought dinosaur bones, including a 67-year-old Tarbosaurus skull, valued at $300,000.
67-year-old or 67 million-year-old?
67 million-year-old.
I'm about to say,
He
like,
had-
bro.
He bought properties. He has a 24,000 square foot home in Rhode Island, which is the size of Rhode Island. He has 2. I don't know if he has
Nicolas
them.
Cage owns Rhode Island.
He had 2 European castles, which he spent millions remodeling, and he owned 2 mansions in New Orleans and 1 in Vegas, and we're going to touch on that in a second. And as far as transportation, he owned 4 yachts, 30 cars and bikes, a Gulfstream jet worth $30 million, the very first Superman comic valued at over $95,000, and over 50 rare works of art. So he did not spend his money wisely.
Hold on.
I can
art-
barely
the
afford
art.
$350 for a bus. My god.
My question is, when you do 2 movies like fucking Face Off and National Treasure, you can afford that shit.
So he thought he was cursed
First
because
of all, Face Off was amazing.
Thank
true.
you. Face Off.
So he owned 2 mansions in New Orleans. One of them was
drugs
the
for that man.
it's called the Our Lady of Perpetual
More
Help Chapel.
drugs for that man.
One was the Our Lady of Perpetual Help Chapel, apparently it's haunted, and the other one that's haunted is the LaLaurie Mansion. And I don't just think it's haunted, I think the LaLaurie Mansion is cursed. And when he lost the LaLaurie Mansion, I think he started having nightmares, and that's what led him to go to a psychic or a medium, because he thought he took the curse with him from the LaLaurie Mansion. And I could talk about the LaLaurie Mansion
When we return
when
from
we
break.
come back from break.
We'll be
That's
right
how
back.
you do it.
Oh, blow me, all right?
If you liked this video today, please click the like and subscribe button and make sure to hit the notification icon to keep up with all our videos.
Welcome back to our episode about the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans
Fuck that bitch.
and Nicolas Cage.
And Delphine
Delphine.
LaLaurie.
To be honest with
Did
you,
we even talk about
we're,
her?
we're you know
I'm
we're
going
sitting
to
here
right now.
we're sitting here talking about OnlyFans in between and shit like that. I was talking about Delphine, whatever the fuck her name is, that
Belle
has the big
Delphine?
OnlyFans.
Belle Delphine.
Belle Delphine, like
No, different
Uh,
Belle Delphine.
okay, go
No,
on,
this,
Anthony.
this bitch is burning in hell.
Why?
Because she tortured the fuck out of her slaves.
Oh.
Well, I'm about to get graphic. If you don't like to hear things about torture,
Warning. The
fucking
language
leave
you're
now.
about to hear is
And
violently
if you are
explicit.
into things about torture,
Skip ahead.
If you are into torture, then pull it out and start wanking because this is about to get graphic. So her name was Marie Delphine McCarthy, and on her third husband, she married a guy. He was a doctor, and it was Dr. Leonard Louis Nicholas LaLaurie. LaLaurie, whatever, LaLaurie. So she married him in 1825. She was a New Orleans socialite.
So she was wealthy.
Yes.
obviously, if she had slaves, she was wealthy.
So in 1931, she bought the land at 1140 Royal Street, and she erected a two-story mansion with slave quarters.
You said erected.
People who visited her house said that the slaves within her house were emaciated. They were gaunt. They were fatigued. They were not looking very well. Okay? And this kind of was like not a double standard, excuse me. This was strange because publicly, she never showed any violence towards any slave. She was kind to the slaves when she was out in public. But you were exactly right. So, in
Closed doors.
this is hard to say, but here it is. Sorry.
Okay. You know,
So
just
I know.
sit there.
It's hard to say because this is really bad.
Dude, just fucking spit it out there.
In 1830, between 1830 and 1834, 12 slaves died.
Disclaimer. Like,
12 slaves died in the mansion those 4 years, including a cook and her 4 children. Okay.
Oh shit.
The mistreatment was so severe that a lawyer was sent to her house to remind her that there are laws on how you keep slaves.
How bad were you
Yeah.
that they had to remind you?
That you can't do
Hey,
that
listen,
to
listen,
the
listen.
slave.
yeah, like,
What you're
my
doing?
God.
Listen. What
yo,
you're,
when
what
the
you're doing,
KKK is sitting there like, yeah, we don't fuck with her.
God.
Again, wait, hold up. What year was this again?
Between 1830 and 1834. Now she left New Orleans she
She left.
Left
You ain't gonna
New
tell me how I treat my slaves.
She left New Orleans on April 10th of 1834, but there's a reason why. There's like a big reason why. So
Angry mob.
actually, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Oh my
You're
God.
not wrong, but we got to get there first. So here's one story. An 8-year-old
What a
girl
wild
named Leah, she fell to her death from the roof. She was combing Delphine's hair, and there was a little knot in her hair, and she, she's 8 or 12, whatever. 8. She pulled on the hair a little more in the snag. Delphi grabbed a whip and started chasing her around the house, whipping an 8-year-old girl for something she had no control over. And to escape being whipped, the girl jumped to her death. She was buried on the property. This caused an investigation, and they were found guilty of illegal cruelty and forced 9 slaves of the. She had to give up 9 slaves.
How many slaves does she have?
That was it at the time. 9.
Wow.
These slaves were bought on the market by a relative, and then they were given back to her, and nobody was like, "Oh well, she did give them up." Everyone thought that was just fine. She didn't buy them back; she wasn't allowed to. A relative bought them for her and gave them to her,
It was a Christmas present.
and that was okay. So they didn't go far, unfortunately. These poor people. She kept her cook chained to the stove.
Holy
And
shit.
she beat the cook's daughters when they attempted to do anything like free the slaves or anything, or talk about freeing the slaves. On April 10th, 1834, a fire broke out in the kitchen. And when the fire marshals got there, they found the cook, who was a 70-year-old woman, chained to the stove by her ankle. And she admitted to starting the fire because she thought that it would be easier to kill herself than to live like this anymore. She was alive when they found her. Like,
Yeah, I was about to say, like,
no. She
you
started
didn't.
the fire, but she survived the fire. They got there.
No, what I'm saying, because
That
before you said
sucks.
you said that the cook and her 4 kids were dead.
Different cook.
And I'm sitting there like, okay, like
That was the old cook.
she like, is this how we combine the voodoo? Did they tell her like afterlife?
No.
Okay.
That was the first cook. The second cook, they chained her and beat her children. When when the fire marshals and the police were there and they were evacuating everyone, the cook said that some slaves are taken upstairs and they never come back down. The fire marshals and the police investigated. There was actually also a judge there as well, a local judge, who started investigating the house. This is taken from the New Orleans Bee newspaper from April 11th, 1834. Bystanders responding to the fire attempted to enter the slaves' quarters to make sure everyone was evacuated. The LaLauries refused to open the quarters, so the bystanders broke down the door and they found, quote, 7 slaves, more or less horribly mutilated, suspended by the neck, with their limbs apparently stretched and torn from one extremity to the other.
That sounds like medieval torture.
Some of those slaves said that they had been there for months. In the main house, and this is, quote, a negress was wearing an iron collar, and an, quote, old Negro woman had received a very deep wound on the side of her head, and she was too weak to walk. When questioned about this treatment, the doctor, the husband, said some people better stay at home rather than come to others' house and dictate laws and meddle with other people's businesses. They basically said, hey, you're treating these people in the most cruelest way possible. And the doctor said, mind your fucking business. That is his response. There are other claims, and these are not founded. They were reported in books later on written that there were other slaves found in the attic. Some slaves that had... Some of their bones had been broken in such a way that when they healed, they could... One woman was said that she walked like a crab. Her legs, her knees specifically, were broken and twisted to the outside. So when she healed, she was walking like a crab would walk, with her knees sticking straight out to the side. Another woman was... She was hung up, chained to the wall, wearing a spiked collar so she couldn't let her head rest. And there had been holes drilled into her at various points in her body. One person, supposedly, had a hole...
Let's put this into perspective. They didn't have power tools back then either.
One person was held to a wall, had a hole drilled into his head, and there was a wooden spoon nearby that they would stick in the hole and fuck with his brain. These are claims...
There are experiments. She was experimenting with
Who knows?
That's not even... I don't even want to say that's experimental. That's just literally just...
These are claims
that woman was just,
that are
she
unfounded.
was just sadistic.
I will say this. Those claims are unfounded, but they were reported much later on.
No, that probably goes beyond
Some of the slaves were...
Still there, though.
They were
Pain.
The slaves were emaciated, rather. They showed signs of being flayed with a whip.
Filleted, like, you know...
Means like strips of skin were cut off with a whip. They were bound in restrictive positions, wore iron collars, whatever. When the discovery of this happened, it became widely known, a mob descended upon the house and attacked the residents. And it was, quote, demolished, and they destroyed everything upon which they could lay their hands. The damage was so severe that scarcely anything remained but the walls. The slaves were taken to a local jail where they were put out for public viewing to be like, look what she did to them. 2 of them died that were rescued, and on the property 2 more bodies were found, and that was the child, the girl Leah who jumped. So when the mob started attacking the house, the husband and the wife, Delphi, they fled. They managed to escape the mob, and they managed to go to Paris, where they lived out the rest of her days. No justice ever came for her and him. Now, in cemetery number 1, there was a plaque that was discovered in the 1930s, that said she died in Paris. It's a copper plaque. That raises the question, who would put a copper plaque in a cemetery saying that this woman died in 1862 if she died in Paris? Why would she be there? Now, there was a crypt for the LaLauries in cemetery number 1, but she didn't die there. She wasn't buried there. But a plaque showed up saying that she died in Paris. We don't know why. Now, there has been a book that was written that said that was a hoax, and they said that there's Supreme Court, the Louisiana Supreme Court had a case in 1850, and she was testifying in this case. I could not find any evidence of that.
All right.
But either way, Delphine LaLaurie's body was never found after.
My question for you is
Let's get back to the curse.
Yeah, let's get back to the curse.
How does this?
I know.
There's a lot of information there.
Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
The house was bought in 1834.
Okay.
So that's it was attacked in 1834.
Yes.
It was bought in 1838, so 4 years later, and was used as a public high school, a conservatory for music, an apartment building, a refuge for delinquents, a bar, a furniture store, and a luxury apartment building.
You had everything social in one place.
Almost, not all at once though. Over the last 180 years, it has been each of these things, because ownership keeps transferring from someone else to someone else. No one can keep hold of this fucking property.
How long does the property stay up before someone changes up?
It varies, but over those 200 years, there has been lots of paranormal activity. Ready for this one?
Okay.
There's a room in the LaLaurie mansion where slaves were kept, and there's reports of moaning that comes from that room. Phantom footsteps echo through the house. People feel like, oh, I feel negative right now. I don't know why. That's common haunt shit. In 1894, it was transformed into an apartments. There was a tenant who lived there, and he was brutally murdered in his room. The police assumed he was a victim of a robbery, even though nothing of value was missing. And an interesting account regarding this murder deals with the police interviewing neighbors about his disappearance. One of the friends said that he was having problems with spirits in the house. His friend wrote it off as his imagination was running wild, but he said that his friend told him that there was a demon in the house who wasn't going to rest until he got what he wanted. After that, the LaLaurie mansion was, for a very short time, a school for girls in the mid to late 19th century. There was several instances. It was an all-girls African-American school. There was several instances where physical assault came to light, where girls would go to their teachers and show that they've been scratched or bruised, and when the teacher asked, who did this to you, the answer was always the same: that woman. These are young girls. They were not told that this house once held slaves who were victims of traumatic torture and mutilation. They just kept saying, woman.
So let's
hold on.
No, hold on.
Yep.
Because you're gonna sit there and the person who owned it before it became a school said it was a demon, right?
Yep.
And it said it was a he.
Yep.
And then these girls are looking at it as it was that woman. So now it's a female.
Yep. Could be. I mean, this is also young children we're talking about. The last owner of it. The last owner is a guy, I'm missing it somewhere. Doesn't matter. The guy owns it now. He completely retroed the house. It's now like a mansion. It's in the French Quarter. At one point, it was a fucking bar. How does a bar in the French Quarter not make it? All you do in New Orleans is drink in the French Quarter. There's bars every 5 feet. But this bar
maybe
failed.
that's the reason why.
So-
because there's bars every 5 feet, and the history belonging to that house.
Everyone's successful except for that one. Anyway,
People might not want to be in that drink. Would you want to drink in something like that?
probably.
You're a fucked up person.
Just for the story. Well, here's the thing.
So, he's gonna take 3 shots in Auschwitz and shit.
Hey!
Yo!
What the fuck was that for?
Oh my god!
I don't even know where that came from, Wes. I am disappointed.
That's pretty much how my brain took it. He said, "All for the story again." So you might as well just take 3 shots at Auschwitz, bro. Fuck.
In 2010, the house.
On National Hebrew Remembrance Day.
In 2010, it was bought by a guy. He gave it a makeover. He hired a woman. I think it's a woman. He hired someone to do it. He hired someone to do it. The designer redid the entire house, and as a gift to her client, she brought in a priest to bless it.
Nice.
Did that has there been any activity since?
I don't know, although they have done tours. You can't tour the property or the building now. They also added a 3rd story too, but there have been reports of people who they do ghost walks near it, and people feel like, oh, this is weird. I don't like the energy here.
No, there's got to be. Listen, when you do a ghost walk, especially in towns like New Orleans, St. Augustine, that are that old and have that much history, you're gonna sit there and feel weird about it. It's psychology going through it.
But the person who owned the house, who owned this property prior to the guy who owns it now,
Cito, you taking psychology, right? Talk to me about the psyching yourself up to feel something that probably isn't there.
Yeah, it's kind of like the placebo effect.
Yeah.
It's the same idea as placebo effect. Like, we could tell you something's gonna happen, and then you might expect it. I forgot the term for it, but it's like, say, like, I don't know, like, maybe you're talking about ants, and then suddenly you start to feel itchy on your body.
Right.
It would be the same concept of that.
Yeah, like if you want to experience something, and if you want to experience something that bad,
really,
yeah,
or some kind of mindset towards something, you will start to feel that same way.
And that happens with a lot of spiritual shit too, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So
well, to wrap it right around
to Nicolas Cage,
he owned the house prior to the current owner.
Oh my God!
And it went into foreclosure. The bank took it back, and then it was sold over.
Motherfucker went into foreclosure.
But the reason why he made it, I mean, look at it. He started doing those direct DVD movies like around 2008 and 2007 is when he had the house taken from him. So right when the house was taken from him, he started doing anything under the sun just to get a paycheck. And he felt that he was cursed, which led to the nightmares, which led to him being taking some plots in Cemetery Number 1.
Maybe he
to
was
be buried near Madame Laveau.
Maybe he was just making some shitty fucking movies.
See, here's the thing: he didn't have to be buried next to Laveau or near her because
he's not dead.
No, Laveau's definitely dead. But
no, he's not dead.
The legends, there's a legend that says she can grant you a wish. Here's what you have to do. You have to go. You have to go to her tomb.
To all the people in New Orleans, please do not listen.
You have to go to her tomb. You have to draw an X on it, turn around 3 times, and knock on the tomb and yell out the wish.
You know what? I wish Josh was here. I really do, bro.
I was thinking the same.
Dude, he would just be sitting there like, let's do it.
If the wish is
gonna be like X, spin it around 3 times.
If the wish is
give me fucking hair, bitch. and then he's just gonna have a plot of hair just right there. And he's like, oh shit!
If the wish gets granted, you come back, circle the X you just made.
If the wish gets granted, you come.
No. You come back, you circle the X that you made, and you leave Laveau an offering. But again, you can't get into the fucking cemetery, so. I'll end this here. All right, Joey has to step out.
I will step out. Anthony, you.
Yeah, we're gonna end it right here.
Sit there and...
We're gonna do the thing. What do you think, Joe? Real quick.
Let's see. Really quickly.
Voodoo curses.
When it comes to voodoo curses, I'm gonna take the path of you, Wes. I'm not gonna fuck with shit.
Good. Was the LaLaurie house cursed?
Cursed? I don't see anything cursed about it.
Excuse me.
Is it haunted? Probably with a traumatic history as it has. I probably would sit there and go more towards that than being cursed, because it's not like this old witch said whoever owns this house is gonna be sitting there cursed after it.
I don't know. I think it becomes.
I think it's more of like there's traumatic things that happen, especially evil things that have happened, and if they sit there and it is, we all know traumatic areas are a hotspot for demonic activity.
Sure.
All right. Again, that's if you believe in that.
Right.
I'll be right back.
Go get what you gotta do. What say you, Cito?
So when it comes to the voodoo stuff, I feel like, me personally, I want to learn more about it, or I could just say, oh yeah, voodoo curses, whatever. But I would actually like to learn more about the religion itself, because I can say I know a decent amount about any type of Christianity, Catholic, whatever it may be, my understanding of different religions. This is one religion that I've never really looked into, so I can't really judge like curses, because, you know, Catholic, I could say something bad's going on, it could possibly be a demon.
Sure.
So
you
it's
know
like,
who to blame.
yeah, I could sit down and see like, okay, it's a demon, whatever it may be. But I want to learn more.
Absolutely.
And when it comes to the house, I could possibly see it cursed. Like, it could be a haunting, but also like a curse haunting type thing.
Like, who's to say there wasn't somebody in that crowd like you're like, I put a curse on this fucking house. This bitch needs to go to hell and die. She need to die and then go to hell.
Well,
Curse this house. Damn her eyes.
Not even just someone in the crowd, maybe one of the slaves in the house too.
Yeah, like, yeah.
That's what,
Voodoo.
That's what he's getting at. Like, pretty much just like one of the people that
Someone
was just
could
like
have
going.
done it.
Like, this
Someone
woman
going through
was
such-
chained up to a fucking stove, and she's like, I hope whoever's out there listening, burn this fucking house to the ground. Curse these white folks. Fuck them.
Yeah, no, that,
You know what I mean? That could have been a curse right there. We have no record of it because obviously, you know, they're not going to write down. Oh, what did she say? Write that down. Like, that didn't happen.
Write that down. Write that down.
It was, she was told to shut up and make the porridge. You know what I mean? It was horrible what she fucking did to these people.
Yeah.
What say you, Wes? Curse? No curse? What's going on?
As far as the voodoo thing, again, it's more of it's just a foreign religion that I have no idea about. That to be honest with you, it has its truth to it. It has its condescending things to it. As far as what I believe in it, do I believe in it?
I don't know.
I believe in God, so I mean,
Sure.
Why not? Why can't I believe that like these people believe what they believe?
I agree with that.
There's some sort of truth to it, even if I don't agree with it.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same fence with you guys. I think in any place of extreme pain and torture that is just it evokes an evil presence. And whether you want to classify that presence as a demon or anything like, okay, fine. I think anytime that there's a long-standing history of people who just like, we can't get this place right and there's always something wrong with it, that's a curse in my eyes. You know, it could have, maybe it's just haunted. Well, if it was haunted by one thing and like we know that like it's because some places like, oh, it's always this ghost, we know who's here. You know, this is multiple ghosts apparently. These are other entities possibly with the demon, you know, involved with the possibility of a demon. I think the place is cursed. The second she bought that plot of land, she built that house, she tortured those slaves. I think in my heart I know that every time.
You think that she was possessed to torture these people like that?
I don't know if she was possessed. I think she just didn't give a fuck, and neither did her
she
husband.
was just a cruel person.
Sadists who enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I think every time, you know, one of these slaves looked out the window up to the stars, they were praying that something happened to this bitch, and so they could be released and have a better life somewhere else.
Yeah.
And they cursed her in that way. And I think with
No,
enough pain and torture, it came true.
Yeah, no, I completely like something like that. I completely agree with you. Because with how much people that were there, how much people that were suffering,
Mm-hmm.
the amount of prayers, I'm pretty sure that they're sent out.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever they've done to hope and pray that maybe this will end.
Mm-hmm. But if they believe it, it manifested itself eventually. You know, I mean, then again, when you think about it, the 7-year-old cook was like, I'm out. I don't want to deal with this shit. I'm going to fucking start a fire and burn because suicide is better than this treatment. I don't know. Maybe if she had started a fire earlier, they would have found out earlier. They could have saved a life or two. Who knows? I think I'm going to say it was, you know, I agree with both of you when it comes to the aspect of the voodoo. It's a damn interesting religion, and I don't know enough about it to say if I believe it's curses or not, but I definitely
I'm back.
I definitely want to see and read more into it because I thought it was a lot.
You dropped something.
It's on the floor. By your foot.
Yes, I know.
On the floor.
Continue. Go.
I thought it was something a lot
Floor.
darker, like the fucking stereotypes show them to be in movies
Yeah,
and
no,
shit.
I'm on the same boat. Like,
Didn't know anything about
let's
it till
be
today.
honest, like the stereotypes that we see nowadays about voodoo completely like overshadow what is actually truth, and it makes me more curious myself on that. I want to actually sit down and look into it.
Yeah, I didn't expect half the things I was reading today, because I was thinking like painted faces, headdresses, snakes and skulls and smokiness. Like, yeah, they do some of that stuff, but not in like this evil witch doctor way. You know what I mean? It's like you think like voodoo witch doctor like has this look to him. That's not it. It's not Papa Shango from WWE. It's something completely different. So
Papa Shango.
I was pleasantly surprised to learn something about a religion I had no idea about.
All right. Everybody got. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, we're
I
good.
just coming back in.
Yeah, no, we're good.
We're
what
good.
About,
All
what
right.
about next week's episode?
What
All
are we
right.
doing next week? Next week.
I
Anthony?
wanted to bring everyone to that point. Why is my mouse working?
You have to click it.
Your mouth.
Oh, there you go.
Squeeze.
So we have 4 episodes left this season. We have Cursed Movies and Televisions. That's coming up next week.
Ooh.
Cursed TV shows, Cursed Movies. We're going to be talking about that stuff.
Cursed images.
After that, we'll be talking about the Hope Diamond. The New York Rangers Curse.
Wait, hold on. Is the Hope Diamond the same diamond from Titanic?
No, you fucking idiot. That's not even a real diamond. That's a fucking made up MacGuffin for the movie.
Oh, okay. You don't have to be a fucking asshole.
Fucking idiot.
You know what? Fuck you and your liking to voodoo, all right?
Cursed
Fuck off.
Movies and Television, The Hope Diamond, The New York Rangers Curse of 1940, and we end the season with The Kennedy Curse, which drops on March 26th.
I am so excited to talk about the Kennedy curse. That sounds weird. I'm sorry, but I'm. You know what about the Kennedy curse, right?
Yeah,
Cito?
because JFK gets you hard, bro.
Well, JFK,
Not in JFK,
JFK
it's-
Jr., Ted Kennedy, it's
All of 'em.
All of them.
Starting with older brother Joe, who was killed. I believe he was killed in the war, wasn't he?
Yeah, don't they all take L's?
The sister,
Yeah, they all get put on a T-shirt. Cito.
literally, the sister took an L for lobotomy.
Yeah, she got lobotomized by her parents.
Oh.
Yeah, because she was acting out. Like she was a horny 20-year-old. That's what she was doing.
Okay, so we'll get.
She's
into
wearing pants.
As far as the New York Rangers curse in 1940, that's another sports curse that we're doing for our uncle up in heaven. He was a big New York Ranger fan, and they didn't win for almost 50 years.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. So, as far as anyone here, so again, go to w.gg. I know it's a very weird thing, but go to w.gg. Get your W products here. Punch in the code Is This Real PC, and get 10% off your W product. Please go to our Patreon. It's the Is This Real Patreon. Again, it's only $1, motherfuckers. It's only $1. Go. $1, and you get our Is This Real True Crime. We
That's
have a
right.
whole season so far.
And Is This Real True Crime is completely uncensored, off the rails, and absolutely fucking nuts.
There is a disclaimer.
I love it. I love it.
There is a
I haven't seen
disclaimer.
any of it,
Yeah.
so don't ask me.
There's a disclaimer. For the
We
last
don't
couple of
hold
episodes.
back, and you know me, Cito.
There's 2 episodes right now that are just me, West, and the Pope here.
Oh no.
And
You
we,
know how I can get.
we probably get canceled.
I
Oh,
don't
no.
hold
we would,
back.
We would. We really would.
Yes,
But you're paying for that, so I don't care.
yes.
You
chose.
chose.
You get the
chose to
privilege.
spend. You chose to spend the money.
If you
It's
spend
true.
the money, you get the privilege of seeing us unfiltered.
That's true.
See, you would think like, oh,
It's
they're,
like OnlyFans.
they're
except-
very unfiltered when we talk about them. No, we're not.
No, we're not.
Like Wes' sister was almost here tonight. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna show her who I call family." I went, "Oh, you're gonna get fucking your whole family's gonna take away from you at that
You're
point."
gonna shun me.
Yeah,
She'll be
exactly.
shunned.
I will be shunned.
But yeah, so
And head
Yes.
over to greenarrowmedia.org.
.org.
You'll see all of our links to our TikTok, our YouTube channel, the Patreon.
spreadshirt, whatever the hell it is. It is. I think it's Spreadshop.
You're a fucking idiot. There's
It's spread something-
shops,
spread
there's
open.
Etsy. You get some. Yeah.
Spread open. Just take the tongue. No, okay. Yes. If you want our logos on a T-shirt, Not our faces. We're not going to be put on a t-shirt. But if you want our logos and stuff on a t-shirt, hoodie, all that, they're comfortable hoodies. I just bought one.
Yep, and check us out on TikTok. We go live fairly often, probably once or twice a week.
More than that.
I mean, together, collectively.
Oh, yeah.
Joey does a lot of music stuff on TikTok. It's a lot of fun.
You just sit there high.
Oh, I'm fucked, and I'm higher than pigeon pussy.
Yes.
So
please continue.
by the way, when we do the Is This Real True Crime, I'm higher than pigeon pussy.
Oh, God. He's higher than fucking Mars, bro. Like, he's higher than Mars
fucking
pussy.
gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
So yeah, so please check us out.
Yeah, so please check us out. And remember, everybody, again, go to greenhourmedia.org. That's where you find all of our links. And thank you for watching, listening. And everybody say goodnight.
That's
Good night,
me.
everyone.
Adios, motherfuckers.
We'll catch you next week. Remember, everybody, question everything. Good night, guys.
Pregunta todo.
Konnichiwa, bitches. It's Ryu West speaking. If you want to find out more about the Is This Real podcast, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/isthisrealpc, or on Twitter at isthisrealpc, or on Instagram at isthisrealpodcast, all one word.